Dude, I put bands on playlists every single week, and they'll do an interview with you. I interviewed Jimmy G for 2 hours. And by my calculations, Jimmy G owes me $14,000 for that interview.
Hard Rock Lunchbox.
Oh, man, what is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome back to the Hard Rock Lunchbox. The only box that's Hard Rock. And on Thursdays, I think, I cannot actually prove that. I was here on time, but I started the show late. I was just saying in the chat, if you want to hop up on 99WNRR.com, you can be part of the conversation here in the chat. I was just telling them that I was late because I was literally fixing my lighting, and I'm air quoting that, but I literally don't need to. I was trying to fix my lighting. See? Well, you could probably see it in like 2 weeks. The problem is this. There is no lighting that makes me look any better, and that's where we're at. Man. Yeah. Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great to just have like some lighting that made everything better? We were at soccer on Sunday. We were playing the Garden City Tigers. It's a funny story, actually, but what I want to tell you right now is kind of funny. So one of the things that you teach in soccer, it's maintaining your shape, right? So like you have a defensive line. It's important for their one to challenge and one to hang back. So you kind of like, you have like a square, or you have an angle, or you have a swish, like depending on what shape you're promoting, like, you know, there's just, so the trainer for Garden City is just like, let's get in your shape. And I said to my assistant coach, I'm like, man, I wish I could just get in shape. And he was like, wouldn't it be great if you just took one step to your left and you were back in your shape? Like, yeah. I think we're teaching these girls the wrong thing. Like, to get back in shape, I just had to be in a line with this person. Like, it's not what it means when you get over 25. So I am displeased with the lighting here in the Hard Rock Lunchbox. I had it, normally it's up here, but it was casting a shadow of this microphone on my face, which kind of looks like a dong. And I'm not homophobic at all, but like I didn't need like a big black dong shadow on my face for the top 20, because the top 20 is something you can see every single week on Strangerhood TV. And that, my friends, is called a segue. This week's top 20, by the way, is probably one of my better ones. It's one where I talk about people having manners and how most people do not have them. And I also kind of put forth the idea that we've got plenty of people on the planet to choose from. We don't really need to take everybody. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we could just hard pass on 4 billion of them. Like, if you can't say your basic thank you and you're welcome, like, you know, maybe you shouldn't just be hanging out. I mean, we don't really need you. If you're not adding to the situation, you're adding to the problem. So we don't really need you. There was an interesting report out today talking about these pockets of unvaccinated America. And I'm not here to tell you whether or not to get vaccinated or not for COVID. That is a very personal decision, and I think it involves a lot of what your life is like and what requirements you have and your own immune system. Like I happen to believe that COVID is very beatable if you are in good health and you are aware of those things. I think it is also hella transmittable, even if you can beat it. Like, is everybody else around you also able to beat it? So I think that's kind of one of the considerations you have to have in. But they were talking about this report about these pockets, I mean, huge, massive pockets of unvaccinated Americans, and they had it overlaid on the map of the United States, and it's basically exactly where you think it would be. If you just closed your eyes and be like, okay, who's not helping out here but complaining about everything? Just close your eyes, think about it. Who's not helping out? Which group of Americans are not helping anybody out other than themselves and adding to the problem? You got those places in mind? Yep, those are them. Those are exactly those places that you think. Another report out confirming what I've been saying for years, that Kentucky, most of Kentucky, is white, older, lesser intelligence, and much more on the government take. For every dollar that they put in federal taxes, Kentucky takes about $2.18 in federal aid in terms of health care and welfare and disability and SSI and all that other stuff. And yet they vote overwhelmingly Republican and keep on complaining about the big government spending our money on things. I say we just get rid of Kentucky and we throw in Florida, and I think we'll be all set. We'll add D.C., we'll add Puerto Rico, and we don't even have to change the flag. And I think that's a good talking point we should talk about. But anyway, it's not what I came here to tell you about. I did have a couple things to talk about. Like I said, you should check out. That's a good clap. That's a good clap. Man, I hate the lighting in here. I'm gonna have to fix the lighting by next week. But will I? There's a lot of things I should fix about the box, but will I? Actually? Probably not. But do check it out. It's a good, I like doing the intros. Oh, also, this week's Top 20 is my first and probably only 2-camera shoot. It's when I had a camera up there and a camera down here. It took me twice as long to edit the goddamn thing. So I'm probably not going to be doing that anytime soon until I have somebody to edit it. And as much as I want to make Annie Stoic edit it, because she edits everybody else's stuff, I don't have the heart to inflict that on another human being. So I'm probably just not going to do a 2-camera shoot. But check that out. Also, please stop by and check out on Strangerhood TV the new episode of Bacon is My Podcast. City of the Week front woman is on this week. I believe it's this week. I get so confused. They're doing those 7 questions now, and it just totally messes me up because I never know who's on which week, who's just doing 7 questions, who's doing no questions, who's not on this week. All the questions can be answered if you just go by Strangerhood TV and check out the latest episode of Bacon is My Podcast. You can check that out for free, unless you're a Patreon member, and then you can check out really other disturbing stuff for a few bucks a month. You might want to check that out. But enough about that. Bacon is My Podcast. New episode every Monday. A lot of other stuff every Thursday. Still not a sponsor. But hey, whatever. I will have some Bacon is My Podcast news soon. Not today, but soon, like in relative terms. Like, not soon in terms of between now, soon in terms of like between now and Christmas, not between now and the end of the universe. So that's just to put it in relative terms for you. So I had a couple things I wanted to talk about. We are 8 minutes in, so I do have some homework. I just printed out for the box. So we talk about this a lot in terms of bands, and just it's not that they're easy pickings, but bands in general are so desperate for attention because attention is what drives successes. I don't really know how to put it any more simply than that. Like, you know, when you put in, like, you know, you submit stuff for people's consideration, and when they're checking out your sites and stuff like that, they look to see what kind of attention you get, number of plays you have, shares you have, you know, Facebook interactions, even though they really don't matter so much anymore. You know, Instagram, TikTok is a big thing. I don't do TikTok. I literally do not have the time to handle TikTok. If somebody else in my band wanted to do it, I'd be supportive, and I'd be on it from time to time, but like, I have my hands full with Instagram, and I am almost never on Facebook anymore, and it is hurting the band for sure. It is absolutely hurting the band. But like, so people look at that. So attention is important, and bands crave that attention. They do, because inherently they know they need it for the success of the band, but also for a lot of people in bands, I have noticed the attention factor is really important. And people have argued with me about this over the years. I am not particularly somebody that is looking for that level of attention. I am not necessarily looking for any sort of level of fame. Like, I play music because I love to. I write music because I feel like I have to. And I perform it because I love those 40, 45 minutes on stage. I do. I really do. It's not necessarily an attention thing, but I do love doing it. There are, I would say half, maybe even more than half, of musicians that I work with or am aware of or am friends with that really do crave that attention. They need that attention. They need that affirmation of doing something correctly, those sort of things. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just kind of a thing that a lot of musicians have. Like, you always hear about, like, precocious children that are, like, performing in front of cameras for their family or performing for their family at young ages. Like, they like being on stage. They like that attention. And maybe some of them just are compelled to do it, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's this whole dynamic, right? Like, some of us want the attention because we're desperate for it. Some of us want the attention because we know that that's the only way bands can move forward. Like, right, a band with no attention is a band that's not getting booked shows. Nobody's listening to anything they're doing. You know, I mean, as far as, you know, where attention falls for me, like, I like being able to command an audience for a moment. If I have something to say, if I have something to convey, and for that, I guess I do crave that attention, and that's important to me. Because if I'm trying to communicate something to you, I do want people to listen and take me seriously. So wherever that falls on the attention scale, I have that. So anyway, so I'm guilty of that too. So, and the reason I bring this up is because if you're not in a band, maybe you don't see it as often. If you're in a band, you'll see it constantly. Hey, I'm looking for new music. I want to play on my show, or, like, you know, we've got a service, or blah blah blah. Like, so, and you don't always know what they are. Like, so somebody asks for a link, like on Facebook. Like, people will tag me, which I am super grateful. Like, anybody that's looking for bands. For music and stuff, especially internet radio shows, I love those because they come and go, so I can't keep track of them all. So I love it when people tag me for new shows that are, like, looking. Like, we're playing on the regular in Dallas and Denver and a couple other places this week because somebody tagged me in a post, and I was like, yep, here's our music right here. I have it all ready to go. And, you know, Keep You Near and Blue and Central Park West are spinning all through the Midwest simply because somebody tagged me on Facebook and thought it would be a good idea. So I love that. But sometimes, you know, I get tagged in stuff and I'll, you know, submit stuff. And a lot of times they are service driven. They're not real, like, they're not people like me looking, like radio shows like mine that are just, like, looking to honestly play music. Like, I like playing music. I am not offering anything else. And I know I don't charge for anybody to ever be played on the Hard Rock Lunchbox. I mean, I guess I could, but, like, why? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't. No DJs on the station here at New Regal Radio do. I think it's actually policy. It's never really concerned me because I don't do it, so I'm not exactly violating policy and stuff like that. But it you know, there's a lot of places that do charge, and sometimes people charge for interviews and people charge for reviews. Like, I understand that. Like, if I'm taking the time to write a review and you want an honest review, like, okay, I'm a pretty accomplished writer. Like, I blog posts, I write articles, I, like, you know, so if you want me to write a review, like, yeah, I could see justifying getting paid for something like that, but I don't do that on the box. So anyway, my point is that somebody had posted something on Facebook, something about, like, College Underground Radio, right? And they were looking for bands. So somebody tagged me in it, and then I posted, you know, Revel 9, and I posted a link either to the new record on Spotify or just to Keep You Near or Blue. I honestly don't remember which one. A lot of times I kind of try and figure out what it is. If it's college radio, I probably would have posted Blue, maybe even Steven Seagal. I don't know. And that was fine. And then under my link, somebody had written a comment like, thanks, please send to here, which is already messed up. Like, don't ask me to post a link to something. Like, just say, send an email, send an MP3 to such and such an address. Like, I don't need the extra step. I know that seems silly, but add it up over, like, a couple hundred times over the years, and then, or a couple hundred times per year, and then you, through the guise of, it doesn't do much for you anyway. Like, very rarely do you find a station that really really gets behind you. I mean, Rebel 9 has been so goddamn fortunate. I mean, there are so many people out there. Like, we've got the Epic Texan has played us forever and was part of our whole thing when we were in Houston and part of the recording of Waylo and stuff like that. He's a good dude. And, like, you know, Metal Goddess Jen is playing us now. Is it Katrina? I'm sorry if I'm not getting the name right. She's in Colorado, and she's just playing us a lot now, and that's awesome. So like, those are great and they're super supportive. But for every 3 of those, there's 300 that don't. So anyway, so I posted on this college, and then it was like, could you just send it here? Now, I would not have done it except for the fact that I had everything open. Like I hadn't closed out my window, so I was like, sure, you know, email, blah 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 blah. And then, you know, here's the link to whatever. Like, we have a radio press kit, so it's like it's super easy for me to send out through Dropbox. So it's really not a big deal. But this is like, I thought this was an interesting example of how bands get like kind of reeled in, like Big Fish, like not even Big Fish, like they just people just looking for money. And if you don't understand how this works, like, maybe this will help. Like, this is literally a day in the life of every single unsigned band because somebody shows some interest and you kind of have to follow up with it. So I sent that thing in, and, you know, like within an hour, I get a response back. It's like, hi, thank you very much for sending us your work for consideration. Your submission has been approved for exposure by our music review panel, and I believe the exposure our platform provides can help you break out in the music industry. Right? Like, right away. Like, right away. Like, every single red flag I've got is going off. Like, just every horn, every alert, every alarm. And then it goes through some basic stuff like, you know, fill in some information. And then it's like, select a service and click the link directly below to get it started. Like, there's music submissions, like, that get you on a playlist, and you pay a couple bucks for that. Become a featured artist, pay even more bucks for that. And then the big one is the interview for Artist Spotlight, which is like even more money. I didn't even write down the amount of money. The fact that it's any money is just annoying. Like, I understand if you want to cover some expenses, like, or even if you want to just keep everybody from sending stuff out, make it $1. You know what I mean? Like, okay, make it $1. But you must be prepared for some questions, because what I did is ignored it completely. And then a day or two later, I got from the same dude, hi, following up with your song you had send to us. By the way, typos, never good. We have had a listen to it again, and it's great work. The sheer talents and creative ability you put into your music is very commendable. This is the kind of work that deserves as much exposure as possible, and we believe our audience will be keen and excited in listening to good music like this. Give us a chance to help your music gain the exposure it deserves by airing it to our extensive global audience of listeners. Our audience are keen on helping underground and unsigned musicians to grow and gain recognition in the industry without the backing of major labels. It's a worthwhile opportunity, and the results you're going to realize will make it worth every penny. So, in my heart, I want to believe every single word of that. Every single word. In my brain, I've read this same letter, or versions of it, for 15 years. And I have to tell you, never, ever, ever has any one of these things done even remotely anything worth every penny. So I didn't answer it. And it just, you know, hey, the track you sent to us for consideration is awesome. You're a talented artist, and I believe your music will be extremely appealing to our... I mean, dude, it's all the same thing. And I'm half expecting any musicians that are listening to this show right now, or listening to the replay, or catching them on the top 20, be like, dude, I got the exact same letter. Right, because it's a form letter, and they're just sending it out because what they're trying to do is get $49 to $199 from every single band, and yeah, they'll deliver, you know, they'll put you on a playlist. Dude, I put bands on playlists every single week, and they'll do an interview with you. I interviewed Jimmy G for 2 hours. And by my calculations, Jimmy G owes me $14,000 for that interview if I was in college underground radio. But of course, my underground network of international listeners probably didn't make everything worth every single penny. So then I got tired of it. So I messaged him back, hi Ryan, his name's Ryan. Probably. Maybe. I don't even know. Hi, Ryan. I appreciate you following up. I'll be honest. I've been doing this a while, and pretty much anyone that asks us for money right off the bat is highly suspect. We get something like this every single week. I know that promotion isn't free and that our product is good enough to reap the rewards of promotion that is well done, but I'll need some concrete information if we're going to consider partnering with you. For example, do you have any ROI stats? That's return on investment. So basically, like, what plays? What are there sales tied to this? Like that kind of stuff. ROI. Know that term. Are there any actual ROI stats, sales performance, playlist ads, etc.? Something more tangible than quote-unquote exposure. Thanks, TJ Rebel 9. What's your crush? It should come as absolutely no surprise to anybody at all that I did not hear back from Ryan. And nor do I expect to. So I guess the lesson here is really, I don't know, somebody wants to sell you something in music and they promise you the stars, like, make them show you one. Make them show you one star. There's nothing wrong with throwing your money away from time to time. So don't feel bad if that happens. Like, I think we've all dropped $5, $10, $20 on a Facebook ad, knowing full well it's not going to do anything. But for us, in terms of getting people's attention, the attention we need, not the attention we crave, the attention we need when we put out a new song or a new record, because social media is stacked against you, because it's an advertising agent, it's an advertising platform. It's not social media anymore. It's an advertising platform, and you are all the consumers, and we are the product. So we need to pay to tell some of our biggest fans that we actually have a new record out. Like, yep, that sucks. I know it doesn't do much and doesn't add new fans, but it does increase awareness, and maybe that's worth $20. Maybe it's worth $40. But if you've got anybody that is telling you that for $199 they will interview you and they will add your song to a playlist and they will expose you to all of their listeners, worldwide, global, local, whatever. Somebody is offering that to you for $199. I want you to know that now, for a limited time only, the Hard Rock Lunchbox will do it for the low, low price of $198. I won't take your money. I won't. I can't. You want to be interviewed on the show? Send me a message. You want to be on the playlist? Write a good song. You want me to talk about you on the show? Send me something stupid like Ryan did. We'll just go from there. In the meantime, here's some a day to remember, because we've earned it. We've all earned it.